All right. It's about time we get started here, doesn't everybody think? Welcome to the Holo Herald podcast, episode number 26. We are streaming live from our usual location and our usual time. That, for those of you that don't know what that is every Tuesday night on YouTube at 7 o'clock or 6:30. Right around that time. Just be free around that time. You guys are sick of me saying this, but we'd really appreciate it if you guys could join us on the live stream. It's a really great way to have some feedback back and forth. It's a grand old time. We have a lot of banter that we cut out of the pre-recorded version, and actually, a lot of our ideas and our concepts come from you guys from the live chat. That's actually how we got the Magic Leapers on, is they were on the live chat and they were talking back and forth, and we thought they had some interesting things to say, so we invited them on. So if that's something you're interested, join us. It'll be awesome. Today we have a huge podcast for you guys. I mean, last week I called the podcast The Happening. I think we should save that one for this week. Holy crap, in the AR world, it is going down right now. I mean, everybody's coming out full force, and we'll kind of get into it a little bit more in the podcast and our thoughts on it, and we have tons of news stories to cover, but let's go ahead and introduce your guests. I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by two of my best friends. One not so good friend and one really good friend. Let's go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys.
I'm Paul. I'm back for another fantastic episode of the Holo Herald podcast. Eric said that it was like 6 or 7. That's Mountain Time, by the way, that we stream. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for anyone on the East Coast of the United States. I don't know what that would be for people abroad. I know sometimes we get some people from abroad, but they find their way on here. But yeah, I'm excited to be on. It seems like we have a lot of interesting things today, especially a lot of news that hit today, so it should be really fun and really current to talk about.
And my not so good friend, go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
It's Austin here. We're ready to talk on this podcast about the many happenings in the mixed reality AR VR world. Good to be here.
So, last week we called the podcast The Happening, and well, we called it Austin Goes Ham, but for funny reasons. Anyways, we were going to call it The Happening because so much we felt like was going on in the AR/MR world. But this week, I mean, it's completely blown away. I mean, how many articles do we have that we found on like different topics? I don't have the Slack up. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 or 7 different articles to talk about, which is way more than we normally get. I wanted to start out by talking around this year last time is when we were starting to get like kind of heavy into the Holo Herald. I feel like, what is it about this time of year that is so like AR heavy or just news heavy in general? Because not just in AR, there's just a bunch of news happening anyway right now. What is it about this time of year, Paul?
I think it's because we're getting into that holiday time, like when people are starting to think about holidays and stuff. I know it's really too soon, but I saw some pictures online of like Halloween stuff still coming up, and after Halloween it will be Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving you have like Black Friday and all that. So it's going to be really big, and this is like when all the tech companies start really gearing up for their big press releases and stuff. So we're just seeing the start of some great things coming out from the companies that we really care about in the AR/MR sphere. So I think it's more just like everyone was saving their big guns for Q3, and here we are. So
yeah, seriously, I mean, because last year, that was like our best time. That was our best subscriber growth. That was our best viewer growth. That's when we had the best of everything. And I think a lot of it was due to so much press around AR and technology in general. So I hope we can feel the same boost this year. I mean, that would be awesome. But holy cow, if we compare this year to last year about how much was happening, I mean, last year, what kind of AR technologies? We had like HoloLens, and we had like Meta 1, but that was basically it this time around last year, wasn't it?
Well, and we had your classic Magic Leaf rumors, which have been around forever. But yeah, basically in terms of real concrete news, it was all about Meta and HoloLens, and it was basically HoloLens dominating the news cycle inside of the technology sphere, I'd say.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And this year, I mean, just in 1 year, if we look at the growth that AR has had, if we kind of take a 1 year retrospective, I mean, it'd be cool if someone could, or if us create a timeline and we could kind of see when these things were happening. Because for the first part of 2017, it felt a little like stagnant almost, felt a little weird. And in our podcast, we even talked about it. We're like, it kind of like the calm before the storm. You know how we were talking about that? We just kept thinking it's way too calm right now. There's not enough technology. There's not enough apps. There's not enough stuff coming out right now. But we felt it was the calm before the storm. And I think like this is the beginning of the storm. Don't you guys?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. I mean, I think we're going to start seeing a bunch of those. You know how Microsoft seems like they're constantly announcing a new holographic partner. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of those apps come out in a month or two here. So those will be really fun to check out because they're going to be a little more developed than what we've been looking at so far. So I think they're going to do a little better job of showing the technology. I'm not putting down all the other apps we've tested. They're all really amazing. But I think we're going to have more fragment-style apps. Just my opinion.
That would be awesome. And I mean, just outside of HoloLens too, I mean, ARKit, now ARCore, Magic Leap, Meta, they're all kind of like really gearing up right now. It's this just wave of AR movement. I'm not super big into the VR scene, and I don't think you guys are either, but have you guys noticed as much VR movement, or has it been mostly focused on AR, or is it just kind of this holographic movement in general that you guys have noticed?
I think it's more like the holographic movement. Obviously, yeah, I'm not inundated in that VR sphere, but I think it's more just holographic stuff, because VR basically, companies have the technology where they want it at right now, and I think we're going to have to wait another year before we see something big.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's super exciting though. It's definitely become a lot more mainstream. We always talk about how the community feels really underground. I kind of hope this kind of maybe either introduces people into that underground community or kind of begins to lift it up from the underground community. But I mean, let's just jump into our news topics. We have so many of them. Just one of you, I don't have them up right now. One of you guys want to rattle off one of them real quick?
Well, I think we kind of already alluded to it. The ARCore being kind of released, like announced today. Yeah,
that's the biggest one probably by far.
So that's Google saying we're going to drop the Tango idea and we're going to bring it out on all Android devices. This holographic technology that the Tango project is bringing to us, they're going to release it for everyone's Android device. So
do we have a date for when it's released?
ARCore? I think it's out today. I think you can literally download it on your phones today.
Well, let's do a video on it.
Yeah, we definitely should. I think it's like for the S8 and some other stuff. I'll drop 2 links into the chat for people that are curious and would like to follow along. Boop. Here we go. And there's another one. These are from ARS. Oh, no, this is from Wired and TechCrunch. These are awesome. Go ahead and check those out if you guys are in the comments. Sorry, I haven't been watching the comments. Oh, wow, there's already so many comments that I've missed all of them. Let's just run through the comments real quick while people read those articles. Welcome, The Only Scrub, and welcome, Tuck, to the stream, as always. Good to have you guys. Yeah, I am the one with the stash. Yes, I am. And I noticed in that last video, it almost looks like a Hitler stash. Like the lighting was not very good on my mustache for dating with a hologram. Or, yeah, I was dating with a hologram. And I look like a freak. I kind of got like a Hitler stash going on.
Oh, no.
Do you think that's going to come back to bite me?
No, it shouldn't. It's the internet.
Exactly. It might come back to bite you because it's the internet.
Okay, because it's the internet.
It's going to be around forever, Eric.
People look at that. I don't know. I kind of thought about that with the dating a hologram video. I was like, I kind of wanted to put a little tip in there. It's like, for my future employers, just know that I don't give a crap what you think. Or I don't know. Just because they're going to see that. So I guarantee one of those videos, even not that one, but one of the other videos like that will be the one that goes viral. And if you type in my name, it'll be the thing that comes up. And it'll be like me in a Zorb suit, naked, with a HoloLens on or something really weird.
I hope so.
Yeah, because now we're just going to have to keep getting weirder and weirder with our videos. It's going to be... You're going to be doing some interesting things.
So...
Hitlerific.
My Tuck says the dating app was Hitlerific. I don't know if that's a term we can still... Is it still too soon? I don't know. We won't get into those jokes yet. It's not that late into the podcast. Normal viewers are still listening. We can't get into that part of the podcast too fast. Anyways, so hopefully you guys have had a second to look at that ARCore article. Do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about ARCore, Paul?
Well, it's basically Google's Project Tango, which to me is the exact same thing as ARKit. Like, they're basically like, oh, here's Apple's version. Well, here's Android's version now. That's kind of the impression I'm getting from it, is they're the exact same things. So, I don't know. I'd love to try it out. I think we'll have some very good comparison videos coming out here once both of those technologies are fully developed and on everyone's devices. But I think that's it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to do a good job of giving people a good taste of AR, MR stuff, and hopefully get them to go out and buy actual devices to use it, I don't know if that worked with VR doing kind of similar things, like how all our phones can do VR, What do you guys think?
Yes, exactly. So, from what I understand, it should be only like newer phones. Like, I know with ARKit, only iOS 11 supports it, right? I wonder if you have to do a huge update on your phone to do it. Well, let's say I have a Galaxy S8 right here. Let's see if there's any updates for it. Doesn't look like there's no updates or anything. So, it might have to be a developer thing, though. So, I wonder how long they'll keep it in Dev Edition before they drop it to everybody. Do you think it's smart of them to drop Project Tango and go just to compete with ARKit, or do you think they should have kept going with Project Tango?
I think it's smart of them. Project Tango, I mean, like this article from TechCrunch notes, you could only get it on 2 fringe phones. I think one from Lenovo and the other from...
It was like a tablet or something, wasn't it?
And the Zenfone AR, which is like, they call it a phablet. So it's kind of like the Samsung Note. So they're
the hybrid.
Just huge. So yeah, that's on like 2 devices that not many people own. So I think it's a good idea for them to say, you know what, people with S8s, you can use it. People with like the Google Pixel, you can use it. I hope my Nexus 5X can use it, but we'll have to see.
I wonder what the limitations are. I wonder if it's just processing power, if it's a certain, like a camera with a certain fidelity, or I'm super interested in the technology behind it.
So, what do you guys see the biggest uses for ARKit, ARCore? What do you think they're going to be used for mostly?
That's my biggest gripe with ARKit and Google Tango is I don't really know. Like,
because they seem kind of gimmicky, aren't like, I don't know.
I think that's how we've always kind of referenced it, isn't it, Paul?
Oh yeah, definitely I see it as more of a gimmick, but I also see it as a way to sell the technology, because when you look at these videos for ARKit, like, it looks really good, and all the demos for Tango look really good. So I think it's just more of a way to say, like, hey, look at this, what you can do on your phone, and then once they're finally like, now take this off your phone and put it into like a piece of wearable technology, then you're really gonna wow people,
Yeah, I think that was one of the problems about VR, was VR just kind of came out of nowhere and was like, we're VR, you know what I mean? Spend a bunch of money on this $700 Oculus Rift or Vive or whatever the device of choice was. It was like, here it is, and people didn't really get eased into it with like everyday uses and technology and stuff. And I think that will be some of the power with ARKit and ARCore, is it'll be a really good introductory to AR. Go ahead.
So the goal, you think, is going to teach the consumers how to use it, and then it'll be a seamless integration when there's an actual like headset for it?
Yeah, kind of like here it is, explore with it, developers explore with it, people play with it, kind of see how people react to AR. Because in my honest opinion, I mean, people in the comments can say what they think down below in the live chat. I mean, what are some of the uses you guys see for ARKit and ARCore? What about you, Paul? Go ahead. What do you think?
I can kind of see it, like, that app that, like, there was a demo video out for a while of the, like, person walking through the store and using, like, the AR to, like, locate items in the store or buy something. I can see a company like Amazon, now that they have Whole Foods, coming in and saying, like, hey, we're going to implement this technology in our store. Just pull out your iPhone or pull out your Android device, and you can... They'll move to that cashless model that they were doing with that, like, I forget the name of it, but they had that kind of that convenience store in Seattle that they were piloting. I think that's hopefully the direction I see Whole Foods going, and I think that's a reasonable use of this on the smartphone, because you already, when you go grocery shopping, you already have your smartphone out because that's where you have your shopping list, you know?
Yes. And then you can just guide it right through. I think Home Depot and Lowe's were one of the companies that were working on something for the HoloLens and for ARKit and for Google Tango, which will probably just convert over to ARCore now at this point. Because, I mean, talk about a store that's so massive and so hard to find, like, the exact bolt you need. And what was it, at Google I.O.? They were saying it was, like, down to millimeters. They could use GPS positioning and store positioning, and with the spatial mapping, they could get it down to like millimeters of what the product is you need within the store. That's definitely right. I think we'll see less, I'm hopeful that ARKit and ARCore will be not very gimmicky. They will be more like, exactly like Paul said, more like seamless, useful apps. Kind of like the face swap on Snapchat. Like, a lot of people don't realize that they're using augmented reality when they're doing that, but yet it's very seamless and intuitive, and they just use it without even thinking it's AR. That's kind of I hope it's not so in your face, like, AR, this is AR, you're using it now. I hope it's more just like seamless. And there's lots of apps that can do it, and there's lots of places it can help out for. But I also am excited for the crazy apps that they're coming out with, because, I mean, did you guys see that Twitter link that I sent you guys a couple days ago with the ARKit stuff?
No, I didn't.
It was like, thanks guys. It was like Apple. It was like an Apple World Tour account or whatever. It was like Apple follower. I can't remember what it was exactly, but they just linked all this really crazy stuff that looked really awesome. I'm super curious to try out ARKit because the videos I don't think do it justice, either how cool it is or how not cool it is. I mean, how often do you guys see yourself using ARKit if you have to go out of your way to do it? If it's not just completely integrated into an app you're already using, do you guys see yourself going out of the way to use an ARKit app?
I don't think so. I don't think I'd use it because, I mean, it's pretty easy just with my phone now to do what I need to do. But I guess if it's integrated in such a way to make it simpler or easier for me to use my technology, then I guess I'm all for it.
Well, let's say it's not integrated in already. It's like a cool app that you have to go out of your way to download.
I mean, it'd be cool to mess around with for a while, but then I'd probably stop using it.
That's a good point. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Austin. I feel like a broken record with these kind of like, oh yeah, it's AR on your phone. That's not the idea that draws me to AR. The idea that draws me to AR is that it's like ready at your fingertips. You don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to pull a device out of your pocket. Like, I want it to be seamless. So no, I would not I would probably do the same thing. I would download the app to show to like my friends and play around with. But then when push came to shove, I probably wouldn't use it in a normal situation where maybe it could help, but it would just be an extra step to completing maybe a simple task.
No, you're exactly right. I've kind of liked with augmented reality how it's kind of a slow grower. It's growing organically. The AR apps we see they're there to serve a purpose, or they're there to showcase the technology or something. There's not just AR to be AR. And I'm kind of worried that might happen with ARKit and ARCore being so widely used and so many companies trying to jump on the AR bandwagon now. Not just like the people making ARKit and ARCore, but all the app developers that think they're going to have to add some sort of AR segment to their app to do it. And when it's honestly, in my opinion, AR for most applications, unless it's a consolidated AR device like a HoloLens or something like that, is not quite necessary. It's more cool. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of worried. I hope it doesn't become abused, I guess is probably the easiest way to say it. Like, it's cool, it exists, but let's not abuse it. Let's use it organically. And that's my biggest hope, because if it starts getting annoying and in people's faces that they're using AR and everything, blah, 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 people are going to get sick of it. It's not going to be like, oh, this is cool, oh, this is that. I'm trying to think of a good example. Can you guys think of an example like that where it's like, it was cool for the first thing and then it just became so overdone that it's just too much?
I think the major one that I can just instantly think of is VR, because it's like, oh yeah, that was cool, but then you see it literally everywhere. Like, everyone and their dog has some version of a VR app out there.
$5 headsets in Walmart.
Oh,
it's so just in your face and not cool. I don't know.
Exactly. And luckily developers didn't hop on too hardcore, but you guys are definitely right with like hardware and stuff like that. Every company you could imagine, Walmart has their own devices. Everybody has their own VR devices. And it kind of just became overwhelming. And I mean, we've talked about the death of VR for years. I mean, VR had like, I never feel like VR got a good grasp, sadly, because I love it and I think it's awesome and I think it's such cool technology. But I think consumers didn't get a good grasp, or developers didn't get a good grasp of what consumers actually want from it. Or maybe we just don't need it. Maybe it's just like a needless technology. I don't know. I'm extremely curious to see what happens with ARCore and ARKit, though, from the public, because outside of the technology realm, have you guys heard anybody talk about ARKit or ARCore or anything like that?
Nope.
I found out about it from the Washington Post, actually, in like their technology section, but I just saw it, like I got the update on my phone and I was like, this is weird. I don't typically get like news that is actually like I actually care about from the Washington Post, but someone had written an article about it and I was like, cool. So that's like the first time I've seen it in what people would call the mainstream media.
Yes. So I hope we don't see like a battle of technology. So going back to like the slow growth of AR, it's been kind of nice that like HoloLens can kind of go at its own pace. And they're still innovating, they're still doing new cool things, but it's kind of just going at its own pace. They don't have a lot of competition. They're just kind of figuring out what it is right now. They don't have to rush and just become something that they're not. And I've kind of liked that about like Magic Leap. There hasn't been a super big rush for Magic Leap to come out with a device. We all want one, but at the same time, there's no rush. They can just kind of figure out what they are, create their device, and deliver an awesome product. Same with Meta. I've really liked that about all these products, that there's competitiveness, but not like cutthroat competitiveness, or first to market competitiveness. But I'm kind of worried that might happen with ARKit, because Google Tango is a product they've been working on for quite a while, and they just basically threw it to the side and were like, okay, now that Apple's doing this, we have to do this. And now Facebook's talking about AR, and then everybody else is going to be talking about it, all the other big companies, and then it just kind of becomes this like cutthroat first to launch the product to the masses kind of people, or first to grab all the developers to develop specifically for their device or anything like that. Do you guys see like that as a potential future at all?
Yeah, I can, and I think this segues into one of the articles you actually posted from Ars Technica, which is talking about how Microsoft was leading the world in AR, but now it's at risk of being left behind. And it talks about kind of how ARKit and ARCore are going to start kind of taking developers and saying, oh, why would you ever develop for the HoloLens? Just develop for these two little like apps on the iPhone and Android, which I can definitely see because they're already inculcated into those ecosystems, right? So there's no barrier for them getting into it. And obviously there are a lot of developers use Unity. I think it's one of the most used developing engines in the world, but it's still like developing for the HoloLens is just, to me, it would seem like such a foreign idea, like if I was a developer developing apps for the phone, switching over to this.
Or imagine talking to corporate.
Yeah, and being like, we have this new, I have this device, but I'm going to have to like really practice with it to get good apps out. And they're like, well, why not just use the ones that you kind of already know how to develop for,
Exactly.
So that brings into question, do you see like the HoloLens for a consumer kind of dying off, and the HoloLens kind of going the route where custom apps are built for it for a certain company, and it's just more of a specifically, I need this HoloLens to do this for my company?
I think that's actually what the article talks about a little bit. It talks about how they were supposed to be like a device first to the masses, but then they started making so many partnerships and so much stuff that they kind of forgot about the consumer and went more business route, which there's pros and cons to either or. So we're not here to debate that exactly, but you're exactly right, Austin. Are they going to lose this consumer boost, or are they even going to care about the consumers because it is? Because I imagine trying to sell this to a corporate company, like if I'm trying to get funding for an app or funding for an idea or backing for it, and I come to them and I say, okay, I want to develop this for HoloLens, which is perfect for whatever the app is that I want to make. It's just absolutely perfect for it. But yet there's only a couple 100,000, if that many, 50, 100,000 HoloLens owners. You know what I mean? Or I come over and I say, hey, the multi-millions and the iPhone users and the multi-million Android owners, which one's the corporate leader going to go for? So I hope it does. Do you guys think it signals the death? I don't think it does, though. I don't get that vibe at all from this movement. Do you?
I don't really get that either. And I think more the reason I don't get that idea from it is because Microsoft is developing this holographic suite. They're putting it on your computer as well and things like that. So it's not, I just don't see it as really the death. I just see it as like they're going to have some trouble, just like they've had trouble with like Windows phones and things like that. They're just going to have some trouble getting people to use their stuff, but businesses are going to be really big into it. And if you're a company that makes like small business applications or like enterprise applications, you're not going to have much trouble selling it to like the big bosses, because they're going to be like, oh, you can build this simple app? Well, let's charge the company that we sell it to like $1 million to use it,
Oh, yeah, like for like an in-house app, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're super right. And I think that's the niche they're going to keep going, which is kind of sucks for us a little bit because I don't know. What do you guys think that means for us, though? Do you guys think we're going to have to, because we've talked about it for a long time. I feel like as the HoloLens, we've kind of like almost conquered the HoloLens sphere and community, and it's time for us to begin like branching out to other communities and stuff, because I mean, if you're a developer for the HoloLens, or if you're into the HoloLens, you've probably heard of our channel or watch our content, but I feel like there's more like AR users and more people interested. They're just not specifically interested in HoloLens to conquer. What do you think like ARCore will do for us? Do you think this is going to like spark interest and people are going to be like, yeah, AR, kind of like the whole Pokemon Go craze? You remember how crazy that was? Do you see like a reaction from consumers like that to ARKit, ARCore? Or do you see it just more as it just happening and people slowly begin to use it?
I really hope it sparks some interest in us, and maybe if we play our cards right, we can have content for both and try and get people excited about the HoloLens that way and see what we can do,
No, yeah, you're exactly right. I don't know. What's our ETA on our iPad, Austin?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything back.
Oh, man, we're so poor. But, I mean, we could... I'm going to Google when ARCore comes out really quickly. What's one of our other articles while I look that up?
Austin, you posted something interesting. I didn't really read into it, but it was about the Mayweather McGregor fight.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if anyone watching the stream watched the fight, but I know Eric and I did. And
what fight are you talking about?
The McGregor versus Mayweather.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
And so normally you have to pay for it through pay-per-view, and it's like $100, right, Paul?
Yeah. My friends and I, we went in on it together. There was like 10 of us, so it was like $10, so it was nice.
Yeah. So Eric and I and a couple other friends, we watched it through a streaming service for free, illegally, I guess. And
not easily illegally, I'll say.
Not easily either, but apparently they're pretty butthurt about it, and they tried really hard to stop most of those illegal streaming, and apparently it's been a big issue, and they lost a lot of money, but they also made like $1 billion, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think it does. So, yeah.
No, you're exactly right. The I had to preface this, so apparently there was people just like pointing their phones at the TV and streaming it on Periscope or Twitter or Facebook streaming or whatever it was. And I don't think there's any way to combat that. Like, you'd have to be watching and see if they point their phone at the screen. Is that copyright? I guess it is still copyright to film something like that. But we found like an actual somewhere where someone screen capped it and, was streaming it straight from their TV. And it was not easy to find. I mean, you're going to be getting viruses out the butt if you're not doing it correctly. So I don't know what their big complaint is here. What are your thoughts about the whole thing? Because you paid for it, right, Paul?
Yeah, I wouldn't have paid for it if like anyone, like if I wasn't going over my friends to begin with, I wouldn't have even bothered watching it probably. But I don't know. I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe you would have had to pay for it. I think it's kind of stupid that you have to pay so much for it to begin with, you know? And yeah, these guys, they made like $100 million each or something like that. So they're going to be just fine if 3 million people or whatever streamed it illegally.
And the industry's made like billions of dollars off of it, so...
Yeah. Like, and yeah, you can't call stuff like that a victimless crime, but it's also like, is it a crime worth policing? Because if you guys weren't able to find the stream, would you have paid for the fight?
No.
But we watched the fight, and we were subjected to all the advertisements that they had during it. So I think they won in the end, kind of.
Exactly, and I made the point of too. Paul makes a very good point. We would, if we had to pay for it, we wouldn't have watched it. That's just a fact. And a lot of people don't have the ability to pay, don't have the access to the channels that were, they don't have pay-per-view. People like Mexico, Brazil, parts of Europe don't have access to the fight. So the only way for them to do it is to go through an illegal streaming service. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems just kind of like a big brouhaha to me, where they're going to, it seems like a fight back from old style television, the big Comcast people. It kind of seems like them being like puffing up their chest and saying, well, look how many people were doing this illegally. We need to start combating this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely just them trying to be like, oh, woe is me,
Exactly. It also makes a great point. I mean, we still saw all their advertising, and those advertisements could have not been cheap that the industries were, that the companies were getting paid to put on their TV, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It was something insane. They said like hundreds of millions of people watched it or something insane, right?
Yeah, I didn't see any of the numbers about it. I just know a lot of people got really, really rich, and all of us got duped.
Oh yeah, seriously. Yeah, I mean, as far as the fight goes, I mean, it was pretty entertaining, but I mean, holy cow, what a much ado about nothing, am I right?
Yeah, it was an entertaining fight, but I wouldn't have felt bad if I missed it, It's not like, I don't know, it's just not as important to me.
Exactly. So, I mean, this brings a good point to the death. How long until we see like the death of traditional media? Until it's all like through the web and stuff, because they still hold a fair big market share, but it's dropping. Like, I mean, ESPN's dropping. They're saying this is like signaling the death of like live sports on TV. It'll be more go to like live sports on the stuff, and Netflix originals are now way better than normal TV shows. So how long until we see the death of like traditional media?
I don't really know. It's just going to be interesting to see. I was reading an interesting article today that was talking about how people will quit streaming services much more often than they quit cable, because it's easier to quit a streaming service than cable, obviously. You don't have to call the guy and be like, yeah, I want to cancel it, and then they'll be like, oh, you got to buy out of your contract and all that. It's just like as simple as saying cancel subscription and you don't have to watch anymore. So it's going to be hard for streaming services to keep these captive audiences, because it's like, oh, my favorite show just went off Netflix. Oh, canceling my Netflix subscription, So they got to play this fine line. So maybe in the future we might see some of these streaming services become like the cable companies we know today, just because it won't be viable to be like, yeah, no contracts, just use it for as long as you want. Because like, I think this was more in relation to like, how Game of Thrones just ended like last night, and a lot of people are going to cancel their HBO subscriptions because HBO doesn't have anything good besides Game of Thrones for a lot of people. And so these companies have to find a way to combat that,
So you feel like it's all going to move to the web and be kind of formatted like as the easy subscription based?
So like same thing, different. It's like I say, same thing, different platform. Like I always talk about, like technology just like evolves. Like technology, instead of this, it equals that. Now we always talk about that methodology. So you think it'll be like the same concept, just online in the future?
I can see it going that way, especially with services like Sling TV and DirecTV Now and PlayStation TV and now YouTube TV. Like, you can stream live TV in these like no contract services. But if people keep on canceling those every time like their favorite show is off, like, so my parents and I are really big college football fans. So I just started my Sling TV subscription this week in anticipation for this weekend when football starts. They did the same. But when the football season ends in January, we're just going to cancel our subscriptions. So they got to find a way to be like, you should keep it because, you know, or else they're going to lose. They just have such like varying customer bases. Yeah.
I mean, that was the point of the contracts for the TVs in the beginning. Well, it's also interesting that people with companies like Disney and bunches of random companies now starting their own streaming services and trying to get in the game. We're almost seeing like more fragmentation of the of those services, which is really weird to me, to be honest. Like, I feel like it's nice to have consolidation because I don't know if I'm a big company. Well, Disney's beyond big, but another company that's trying to start a streaming service. I mean, Netflix is still not profitable, and they're the biggest people in the game, you know, and they still have not broke even. They're still in debt. So I it's kind of scary. I mean, I pray that the platform's sustainable because I definitely prefer it. I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched Netflix. I use basically exclusively YouTube for my entertainment, so it's not very fair for me to talk onto it. But, I mean, even YouTube does their own exclusives with YouTube Red now. It's just weird. I don't know. We should figure it out because I hope it doesn't go the route of freaking big company TVs where you have to just buy into all this crap you don't want to use. Do you guys, have you guys tried YouTube Red out yet?
Oh, yeah, I signed up for that free subscription. I haven't used literally any of it, like any of the functionality they gave me other than no ads, which is always a good thing for me because I hate ads. But other than that, I haven't used like the music streaming. I haven't looked at any of their content that's like the exclusive content. So
yeah, the YouTube Reddit content is ass. So no reason to go look at it there. What about you, Austin? Did you sign up for it?
I did not.
You didn't? I told you to like a trillion times.
Yeah, but I don't need it. I got Spotify.
Well, also, if you watch our videos and you watch our podcast and stuff, it gives us more money. Whoa, Austin says we don't need more money.
As we just said, we were poor.
Whoa,
we're
this is a sensitive topic. Austin,
What?
Is there something you need to tell us about YouTube Red? Does YouTube Red do something wrong to you?
They just keep notifying me every time I, like, accidentally turn my screen off, and then while I'm watching like a YouTube video, and then I open it back up, and you're like, you should try YouTube Red.
Oh, because you can't do background play?
No. Yeah, because you can't listen to music.
That's nice for podcasts, for the H3H3 podcasts and stuff like that. I don't know.
Nice
I use
podcasts.
YouTube Red. I'm excited to see all those. I'm excited to see. I hope YouTube, since they're kind of getting their crap together a little bit more than they used to, I hope they go YouTube Red and they do something better than they used to do, because holy crap, when YouTube Red first came out, that was a whole shit storm. It was pretty bad. What's some of these other articles we have?
How about that new, the HoloLens Wand thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you see that, Paul?
Yeah, that video is kind of like another one of your computer-generated videos, but the point is the controllers that were being used in it, correct?
Yeah, and they patented them even. There's like a patent that you can see with like these really slim looking, like a toothbrush, like an electric toothbrush, or I don't know, like a lightsaber kind of looking controllers. And that's kind of funny because it was either last week or 2 weeks ago we were talking about controllers, wasn't it? And that's kind of exactly what we were talking about, like really minimalistic pointer style controllers that are good, that are meant for it. Kind of like the clicker, but with a little bit more functionality. Do you think they're going to be expensive? I was kind of curious about that because they look like really nice, to be honest. And I hope they're not like hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, they look a little too expensive at this point. I don't know. I think we'll just have to see because they could be really expensive. Do you know what one of those clickers retails for?
I don't know. That's a really good point. I'm going to Google that right now.
I would assume like $40, nothing more than that. I could see these being priced in that range, like the price of an Xbox controller.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Okay, let's see. We could sell our HoloLens for the clickers, $70.
No. The Xbox controller.
Oh, the controller.
Because they do have to have like some sort of motion sensing technology in them, unless they're using the HoloLens to track where it is, and they just have a marker on the controller, you know? In which case it would be much cheaper.
It looks like there's no way to buy them online, really. I'm not seeing any way to do it.
I wonder what people are selling them for on eBay.
eBay.com.
Have you guys ever bought anything off of eBay?
Austin does.
It's like for like motorcycle parts that you can't really find anywhere else.
Oh yeah, that's what eBay's good for. But I think it's interesting how they're trying to push like this fashion now and all this other stuff, like they're trying to be an online retailer. I don't think that's their bread and butter, in my opinion. I think their bread and butter is exactly what you're talking about, like the hard to find stuff. Like eBay for me is a last resort type deal.
Right. Like I bought a 35mm camera from eBay. Like you can't buy that on Amazon. Well, I mean you can, but you can't buy like the one I wanted, you know?
How much you guys guess a HoloLens retails for on eBay without looking?
Oh, I just looked, so I'm not going to be able to talk.
Austin.
Retails? Is it more?
Yes. Yeah, it's well, there's a couple, let's just say a brand new unopened one.
Brand new unopened 3500?
Yeah, very close. 3,700. We could make some profit. We should just buy them and flip them.
Flip them. Even though that's illegal, isn't it?
Yeah, I think didn't when we get our HoloLens, they're like, you should not resell this.
Yeah, it's against the rules, the terms of use to sell it.
I don't know about that. Yeah, well, I'm not seeing a clicker anywhere. You know what's weird is people want to buy our HoloLens box. Why do you think they want to buy our HoloLens box? Apparently people on the Slack are getting what's it called when someone tries to talk to you? Approached. They're getting approached about selling their boxes too. Why the heck are people trying to sell the box? Do you think it's being a collectible, or you think people are trying to scam on eBay?
Probably scam.
It's probably both.
Yeah.
Because the box is really cool. Okay, what do you guys guess one's going for on Amazon?
Probably the same price, $3,500.
What about you, Austin?
Yeah, I'd say that.
$3,750.
Damn.
Wow.
Seriously, that's impressive.
And people just don't know that you can literally buy them from Microsoft right now.
Just go right on there. I know, that'd be such an impulse purchase. Oh man, does it use Wi-Fi? Oh man, the comments. Can we connect to Xbox 360? Oh my gosh, the comments on these are so bad. Yeah, they want to know if you can connect to your Xbox 360. I want it and am a kid. My dad said that it's 3,750 OMG, and is it real? Yes, is real. It is powerful and standalone laptop that fits on your head, and instead of the screen, it uses a hologram to display and sensors that can scan the fish. It's pretty awesome. What the freak? The internet. Sometimes, 99% of the time, the internet just ruins me and everywhere.
But guys, it has Prime shipping.
That's all I need.
That's what it's worth for. All right, let me see.
Frequently bought together. HoloLens and a Vive. No, and an Oculus Rift.
Yeah, right.
No
It's
way.
like $5,000 worth of stuff. Okay.
It's time for Magic Leap Drama.
The Magic Leap Drama segment?
Oh boy.
Magic Leap Drama, boys.
We're told by the Magic Leap fans not to use that term anymore, Paul.
Why?
Because they say it's not I don't give a crap. Let's do it.
It's our podcast. We can name it whatever we want.
Oh, that's a good point. What is your Magic Leap Drama of the day or the week, Paul?
Magic Leap settles bitter legal battle with executives who started its Silicon Valley office. So, tell me about this, because I didn't read it. I'm going to read it while you guys are telling me about it.
I didn't read it either.
None of us read it. Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll just
Cutting
read it
it
out
out.
loud as we go. Magic Leap has settled. You guys read ahead while I just start reading it. Oh, I have ad blockers, so they're not happy with me.
I got it. Magic
Frickin'
Leap has settled with former executives Gary Bradsky and Adrian Keller, two computer vision experts who became embroiled in a legal battle after they left their jobs at the billion-dollar Miami area smart glasses startup. Litigation in California's Northern District Court between the three parties was settled in a confidential agreement last week. Details about the settlement are not public. Magic Leap accused the two engineers of ripping off its technology and talent, and Bradsky and Keller countersued for wrongful termination.
What? So, I mean, while you're reading
They
ahead,
both started a company too.
Yes, they
medical
both
company,
started
right?
a company in Silicon Valley. So they had a satellite office in Silicon Valley, and they left that after a disconnect with Roni or Ronnie, doesn't matter.
It's Roni,
Mr.
apparently.
Abovitz.
Yeah, we'll just call him Mr. Abovitz. Yeah, well, this people keep telling us that we should stop like talking about Magic Leap drama, or they get mad at us when we bring stuff up because it's not real. But I mean, this is like, I mean, I haven't seen this stuff with HoloLens or Meta or anything like that. Maybe it's just because we've Hawkeyed in onto Magic Leap, but this is like the third or fourth lawsuit we've seen them in, if I'm correct, right? I mean, there was the sexual lawsuit, and there was another one over some technology or whatever, and there was another one over like a developer leaving, and then there's this one now over the Silicon Valley. So what actually are they suing over? Does it give specifications exactly what they're getting sued over? Or there's a lawsuit?
No, other than just so Magic Leap is accusing them of ripping off technology and talent. So I'm assuming they stole some secrets and tried to start their own company. That's why Magic Leap's upset. And the other two, the two engineers are like, well, you fired us for no reason. So
so Magic Leap is suing them.
And then they countersued Magic Leap.
Oh, whoa. So did Magic Leap lose the lawsuit? Is that how that works? Or do they both go on at the same time?
It's been settled. So they're both
Both happy.
they both kind of lost. I think they don't give any information about who settled to who. But typically if it was a countersuit and a suit, I don't know how this is going to work.
We're not lawyers.
Well, it's weird. Although Brett was still fighting suit, Magic Leap earlier this summer looked to gain access to records because she had emailed.
Sorry. Let me see. Is there any comments? Nope. We had like 8 people, and they're like, "We're out of here." You guys got boring. Wait, guys, there's an augmented reality hat.
Yes.
Right. Sorry to interrupt, Paul, but you have to look at this.
Oh no, you're fine because I'm just kind of confused because one of the engineers settled with Magic Leap last year, and Magic Leap paid him for wrongfully terminating him. So, but this other guy, he was still fighting the lawsuit, and his just got settled. So I'm assuming Magic Leap paid both employees, and they completely lost their part of the lawsuit, which was claiming that they stole some stuff.
That's not good. It's not good at all.
But yeah, they did start a competing company that does computer vision stuff as well. Oh, that's incredible!
You guys seen that? What I just posted?
Yeah.
Isn't that? I'm so mad it's canceled. I would have wore this crap around everywhere.
That's hilarious.
Dude, they
It
got
was totally a joke, and he
$10,000.
got $10,000 for it. Jesus.
Did he say it was a joke anywhere?
Well, it
There's
looks
a
like
video.
a joke.
Oh, look at the video. There's a 1-minute video down there
The
below.
video's hilarious.
I gotta bump this up quality. I have like on really low quality. What the heck does he have on his head?
It's a hat.
No, the other guy.
Everyone has hats. Oh my gosh. The thing's completely ridiculous.
This is awesome. This is incredible. Dude, we should do a series where we buy really crappy Kickstarter augmented reality stuff.
Or just really crappy Kickstarter stuff in general.
Holy cow.
Man.
This is a long article. Holy cow. I don't think this was
Man.
a joke.
Kickstarter stuff. Like, Kickstarter was such like a good idea when it first started, but now everything's on it is such like, oh.
It just
It's
became
just
like
like-
my problem with the startup community, that it's just such a
Yeah.
money grab now with like nothing. It's like, I have an idea, give me money. And it's like, you haven't done crap, you know? Everybody's got a good idea, you know? And Kickstarter's emulated, but they got 10 grand for that. Jeez Louise. What the freak? So, tune in next week when we get our... What the... Spectre box. I think some of those augmented reality, this is the only one that's still existing. Oh wow, they only have
Whoa.
623 euros
Try out many
pledged of their 25,000 euro goal. Does anybody even give a crap about AR? Have we been lying to ourselves this whole time?
Maybe. Maybe.
No one actually cares. It's not like already with multiple companies
I guess that's a good point.
worth millions of
Augmented
dollars.
reality.
One being worth, well, two being worth billions, but Microsoft not being worth billions because of MR.
Yeah, neither with Google. Well,
I think we've kind of reached our talking limit here.
yeah, we probably have. We
Sadly.
cleared through our news articles too fast. I have some really
Yeah.
fun some topics I want to hit on next week, but we can save them, and most of our viewers left anyway.
Well, Tuck's back. Hi, Tuck.
I would wear that hat on a date with a hologram. That's funny. Tuck's our main man, our main viewer. I wish we
So
had a way
one
to
final
reward you.
question for the final viewers, mostly Tuck. Eric, is dating holograms the future?
Of course.
Have
People-
women become obsolete? Or
I mean,
have
I
men
wouldn't
become
say
obsolete?
I wouldn't say women or men. I'd say just partners in general. I mean, people were all into real dolls, but I think the future is definitely holograms. We talked about this. Remember when we first got the HoloLens and we wanted to
Yeah.
make an app with Tristan? Anyways,
The first thing you thought of was
say it, Austin. Say it
Never
out
mind.
loud. That's what I thought.
Nope.
You don't have the
Well,
balls.
Austin, isn't it the first thing you thought about when you put it on? You're like, what are the possibilities?
the possibilities are endless.
All I'm saying is I don't have a girlfriend and I don't need one anymore because I have
I've got a HoloLens.
I have Rena. I don't know. There was a couple topics I wish I would have hit on in that video. I wish I would have made it slightly a little bit more creepy, but then there's some other cool stuff I wish I would have hit on, like holoportation. Like, do we really need like exact mapping in of stuff, or is like avatars going to be good enough to holoport with? I don't know. There's some other topics. I think we could revisit that app actually in the future. Okay, we all know that I have a Hitler stash. Okay.
Correct.
And for people in the comment, does someone want to read off what Tuck said, just so people in the pre-recorded aren't confused?
Tuck says, Eric has a Hitler stash, doesn't need a girlfriend. Period.
Can't get one is more like it. Anyways, Tuck, I have a question for you. We'll probably definitely edit this out of the final version. How long have you been watching our content for? And to follow up that question with is, what can we do to make our channel better in your mind? Because you've been watching our content for a while. What do you think it's lacking? Oh, crap. People are hunting me down, trying to try their apps. We're all waiting in bated breath. Several months. Good. I want to do a HoloLens 1 year later review, like an unboxing the HoloLens 1 year later kind of thing. More homework / research. What is that supposed to mean, Tuck?
We're not accurate.
I like how we're all defensive. We ask for input, and we're just like, screw you. Tuck, are you on the Magic Leap Discord?
Yeah, I think he's on the Magic Leap Discord.
I'm searching your name on the Discord right now.
Yeah, I can see that, Tuck. We definitely do need to come with more knowledge,
Yeah,
because we kind of just talk out of our asses.
yeah. You know the process. We just post a bunch of articles in a Slack channel, and then don't look at them over the week, and then we just
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to do this much content. Because without going on about our lives too much. Whoa. I want more goofing off.
Yeah,
and less
goofing off's
AR
fun.
news.
Goofing off for the first 30 minutes of the podcast is who we are.
We have to sift
Even though
through
I
the crap
realized-
to get to the gems.
Yeah, most of you probably do skip past that part, but I like to think that at least one of you stays around for it.
And I know number one HoloLens fan does, and that's why he's our favorite viewer, Tuck. I'm just kidding. Tuck, you're pretty great. Tuck, were you talking crap on us on the Magic Leap Discord months and months ago? You can be honest. Do you want to come on our podcast? No, I'm just kidding. Actually, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll take anybody. I think next week we'll probably get Lucas Risotto on. He's been freaking slaying it. Paul, have you been seeing how much he's doing?
No.
He was like he won an award from Microsoft. He was like one of the developers of the year or something like that. He developed another app, and now he's working on like ARKit stuff. I don't know, man, that man's a busy man, and he met with like Microsoft executives to talk about HoloLens stuff. What a busy dude. I know.
That's awesome.
Sorry if I talk crap on you guys. No, it's okay. We talk crap on ourselves more than you could ever do it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're just going to quit the Holo Herald.
I mean, our channel was originally going to be called Holo Douches, so you got nothing to worry about.
Exactly, which I still think would have been a great name. We can rename it.
We can do a rebrand.
I think it's called a pivot.
A pivot?
Yeah, well, we're not supposed to admit failure anymore. We're just pivoting.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to outro. Are you guys ready for this? Let's pull up some music.
Well, let me say goodbye.
All right.
Thanks, everyone who joined us, and I appreciate all the comments, and anyone who's listening to the finished edition of this, please comment in the description. We'd love to hear your descriptions and your thoughts on what we're doing. And yeah, have a good day, evening, or morning.
Thank you, Paul. And yeah, you guys have a nice day.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my god. What does this become? What does our channel become? Whatever. We're going out with it. People are messaging me on Slack about trying their apps. Okay. Which is cool. Anyways, we're moving on. Did you guys wait before we move on? Did you guys see
end it.
Did you guys see Sean Ong saw that we were talking about him at like the last 5 minutes of the podcast last week? And then after that I just like blabbered on for like an hour trying to get music to play. What a mockery we've made of ourselves. We're not what we used to be. Anyways, let's go ahead and end this bad boy. I'm going to start some music.
Who did this?
That's perfect. All right. Well, there we go. That's the conclusion. That's the end. That's the sunset of Holo Herald Podcast episode 26. It's been a good one. There's so much happening right now. If you guys find cool information, we've caught word that we need to be a little bit more knowledgeable and do a little bit more homework. If you guys have stuff to say, good input, or anything like that, please feel free to share it in the podcast. To share it in the comments, or hit us up and come join us on our podcast, because we'd rather have people smarter than us just blabbing on about nothing. So if you guys have fun stuff to say, excited to say, come join us on the podcast. We'd love to have you. It's a great community, and yeah, we have a great lineup. I guess that's us wrapping up episode number 26. We'll catch you guys in the next one.